Welcome to Tiny Hands Big Dreams here on our off-grid homestead in southern Ecuador. Just because a tool is old doesn't mean it's not as good as a new one. Let me show you. Custom cover. This is a BOICE-CRANE jointer. Now, I bought this in Tennessee when we were doing the grand kitchen project. The idea was, instead of buying pre-made countertops, I would buy used tooling to equate the same amount of money as the countertops. Went over that a little bit. Spend the time to build the countertops and then get to keep the tools. I found this on Craigslist, sold by he was a bass guitarist in like some sort of band in Western North Carolina. Props if you're watching this. Thanks. This was his dad's. He's had it forever. This is vintage 1940s, plus or minus a decade. Nobody's quite sure. BOICE-CRANE out of Toledo, Ohio. Built this a long time ago. This was considered a standard machine. Now, there are newer joiners around. There's lots of them. I've used them. Why did I like this one? One, it's all cast iron. It's not aluminum, like a lot of the newer jet ones and some of the Chinese ones. It is solid. It was built to be repaired, built to last. I like the mentality with how that's built. It's seen a lot of use. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's so many evidences of like abuse, repair, things, just so much use on this thing. It's sort of crazy. That being said, the deck gets out, I can resurface the deck. I've already just, I resurface it with the orbital sanders, take the rust off, and I waxed it. Motor. Uses a standard motor. You can get those anywhere. I get those here. Same motor. Things like that. Usable parts. Uses a standard automotive belt, standard pulley. The knives on it are a pretty standard 6-inch knife. I've also got a fancy new DeWalt planer that I did buy new for same counter project. And while it does a great job, like, not gonna lie, it's awesome. Every single part in that planer must be bought from DeWalt. Oh, the blades wear out, can't resharpen them. They're indexed for ease of use for changing them, but you can't resharpen them. They go out of spec that it doesn't work anymore. The belts, the things, the casings, all the little specialty plastic parts, the wheels, nothing is user fixable or replaceable. Nothing. Everything is a call to DeWalt for a new part. This, I can replace the switch. It is the standard switch. I can replace this, that. I can do, take it to a machine shop, have them fix a thing, do a weld fix. I like that this thing will probably last, well, we're 80, 90 years now. I mean, will it make it another 100? I'm sure it will. There's nothing about this that tells me that it's not going to last any longer. So, it is not as easy to set up, say, as a newer one. To set the knives, let me show you how I do it. Lift the motor, take off the belt. Crazy easy. The motor is mounted on a door hinge. So now, there's a couple of ways to set the blades. It's sort of a pain. I have a dial indicator, and I can dial indicate exactly and lift it and move it and lift it and move it. And honestly, it's a real pain. There's a method with a bar magnet that sits across here and lifts up on the blade and holds it while you loosen and then tighten the jam nuts, and that works okay. It doesn't work as well with the carbide blade because there's a little bit of a space to the steel. It's carbide bonded to steel. I saw another method here, and I'll show it to you, which is you set the old straight edge here, and I line it up to there, and then as I rotate the blade through, it picks it up and moves it a certain amount, which I can then measure. I come over here, Set it to there. Do it again. And by setting that pickup and movement, I can set the blades. What's it take me? Probably 45 minutes. But once they're set, they go a long time. They are resharpenable many, many times. Resharpenable. We live, this is solar powered woodworking, so that's fun. But we live way off grid. Being able to maintenance and repair what we have with simple tools is really important. And that's why I kind of like this versus the planer, which I'm really afraid to use because if anything goes wrong, it's, I don't know, put it back in the box until I can bribe someone into bringing me a replacement part. Now, as far as some other parts, we'll give you a tour. I have a lock on this end. The back fence, okay, me with coffee tightened this. There we go. The back fence pivots. It has a stop for 90. There we go. So I get it all the way around. It's got sawdust in there. So you can set the angle on it if you want to do angle stuff. Now I will say, I didn't realize it when I bought it. Put the 90 stop back in. Set it against it. Tighten it down. That sets the angle. Now, technically, it still moves back and forth. There's another handle that's supposed to be here that goes inside this one that clamps the whole thing, which is actually the slider mechanism. So I can slide it back and forth. And I don't really have a way to stop that because I'm missing that knob that I have to rebuild, but I can lock this side down a little bit. Holds it good enough for now. Didn't even realize that when I bought it. What else? So, shavings collection. Corn bag. Couple of magnets. Now you literally just magnet them up there. Collect the shavings. We use them for the chickens and the pigs and the goats and things. It's easy to change. I move the magnets. I take the bag away, give it to the kid, put the new bag on. I have now made a resource with a waste product. But what can it do? Does it do a nice job? Let's run a few pieces. First, I gotta put the belt back on. Try doing this on your like brand new like super modern thinger. Oh, done. Yeah, it's just to open like the planer to get at the serpentine. It's a serpentine belt. Just to get at it takes an amount of time, and then to like. Not saying it's not great. It is, but there's a certain usability with simplicity. So this extension cord runs to our inverter from our battery bank, straight from the sun. Every bit of woodworking I do is solar powered here. This was a offcut from making some dimensional lumber using the chainsaw. Now it's pretty flat. I can use the back here to sort of gauge it. It's warped a little bit since I've cut it. It's got a little bow in the center. We can take that out. Let me put an edge on it. Let's see how it looks. So this piece of wood was a standing tree, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. So to be fair, it is still wet. Has it made a beautiful 90 degree? Has it made totally flat sides? Zero wobble. This is, you know, what you ask a joiner to do. Make it flat. Pretty it up. Let me use it for something else. Works just fine. So a bit of decorative sanding later. Also, this is still wet. This is going to be our new camera mount. It's just sort of a shoe, is the way I call it, but it's flat, very, very flat. Has a satisfying thunk. So yeah, I'm going to sand it. I'll knock the corners off. I'll probably burn it again. And I'm going to replace Mr. Moldy Wood. It's just a hunk of weight. This was my motorcycle mount when I had a motorcycle. My motorcycle mount for my phone. This is our video setup. Nothing really more is needed. We set it on the table, we do our lives, we set it upstairs, and we do our standard videos in our open air second floor studio. You could go and buy all brand new stuff, and people get really hung up on you can just buy all things brand new and it's great and it's fancy. There's really still good value in things that were made a long time ago that are, I think that was $150 or $200. The motor, the joiner, the stand came with it. I've never unbolted it. It's so heavy. It's cast iron. It is a good, solid, durable thing. It will last a very long time. It will last longer than the planer that was brand new that I bought, even though it's 80 years old. So we'll take that. And that's sort of where we're going with things, is we're looking for things that are more durable, that will last a long time, to get out of the treadmill of disposable consumerism of all things. The phone that I'm using, what are we at, like 7, 8 years old? The computer, I think, hit 12 years old. Are they the latest and greatest? No. Do you need the latest and greatest? You know, it's philosophical at that point. But something that takes very little effort and then runs forever, gosh, even it's simple. It's like the old classic car. People were like, it doesn't have any computers, things, you can totally fix it yourself. There's a lot of people that want something like that. So that is my bit of philosophical rant on old tools versus new things. Hope you enjoyed it. See you for the next one.